Man, I'd be tempted to play Sonny Luke because the 9 role is like I want as much minutes as possible in tough games heading into round 1. And like Mitch Kenny, although, a good, solid player, is he going to be an 80-minute hooker for them? Probably not. And so I'd probably be playing Sonny this week.
If Sonny was 21, I would, but he's 26 years old, a little bit older. And I think that's what a lot of people are forgetting with Luke. So I'd be confident just playing him next week. But I understand where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah, also it sounds like Mitch Kenny will play his, much like he did with Appy in the back end of last year. The word is that Mitch Kenny comes out, plays 20 to 25, and then Sonny Luke comes out and plays that 55-minute role straight. Yeah, I mean, you talk about getting those tough NRL quality games into him, but I wonder how strong the Parramatta side is this week for this game. At the same time, I think they'll be saving him for the World Club Challenge. I'm so excited to see more so the World Club Challenge, but just the dynamic of this Penrith outfit without Viliame and Kikau. A traditionally very left side dominant team with likely Garner coming in there, Nathan Cleary being more of obviously a right edge player. Does that right edge almost take over with Liam Martin as the hard running back rower? Brian Toto is obviously on the right wing now when Taylor May's on deck. So we could see a really big shift in this side. And Nathan Cleary is such a huge watch because he now loses Appy and he has, say, Sonny Luke or Mitch Kenny there feeding him. Cleary could go to another level this season. Like he might have to, but, how does Ivan Cleary respond to the new dynamic in his team? Losing key players. We know with Craig Bellamy over the years, he might win a premiership. He didn't need a poor season to change the structure of his team because he was ahead of the game. Well, can Ivan Cleary do that? I'm sure he can. But in which ways does he change things leading into round 1?
It's interesting you say that because, I was speaking to Cam Smith last year and I was like, mate, like what people, I mean, they're starting to come around now for sure. But I was like, what people don't understand is like you guys have, because you have such a reputation for being like defensive, gritty, never give an inch, just almost vanilla style of rugby league, people don't actually realise ever since like 2018 or so, they've been one of the best attacking sides in the comp. And it's funny you say in regards to Bellamy is that, when they changed the way they played, it wasn't a bad year, as you said. It was the year they lost to the Sharks by a bee's dick. He changed their entire system because they said, we no longer want to, I guess, be the grindy, gritty team that wins through the middle. We need to change everything the way we play. And that's what makes Bellamy one of the greatest of all time. Is like he loses the grand final by 10 seconds or whatever, and then he changes the entire style of play. A couple of years later, they break the record for the most points ever in a season. And I understand there are circumstances that helped that, but it doesn't change the fact that out of all the teams in the comp, they smashed every team out of the water when it comes to points scored. And you're right, it's analogous to Ivan Cleary. You came off winning a comp. Is it the time now to change the way you play? Because if you go back and watch Penrith over the last few years, any time they needed momentum, they just went shift, kick out, boom, quick play the ball, and it just totally opened everything up for them. How do they get that same benefit of guys that aren't as big and as strong as kick out? So I totally agree, Tim.
Just quietly, analogous? Was that the word?
Analogous.
Analogous.
Yeah.
Good word, Kempy. I like
that. Google the definition just so hopefully I got it right.
Sometimes you throw out these words and then shut up like this. Analogous. I like that.
I think it's like for an analogy.
Yeah, right.
Here we go. Come on, matey.
Analogous. Comparable in certain respects, typically in a way which makes it clearer the nature of things compared.
Stop it. Stop it.
That's real good from you.
Fucking hell, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
You don't want to say for an ex-con.
I read a lot of books in jail. Okay. Eels. What do we want to see with the Eels?
Yeah, a few question marks over their side.
Big fucking number 9. That's for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think we'll see Josh this week, but I think the week after he'll be the one to watch.
What I mean is number 9 is because like Hodgson's old. He's come back from injury. Yep. What if he gets injured? Who's the next guy?
Yeah, well, they've got Mitch Rain there. I don't know if Mitch is the answer, respectfully to him. So hopefully there's another kid that can pop up there. You'll get Hopgood. He'll be playing in the All-Stars this weekend, so you get to watch him there as well. That'll be great. But yeah, Parramatta, they've got a few spots to fill. I think that edge back row spot between your Murchies, your Dories to replace IPAP, that'll be very interesting and very important for this side. Maddo's out for the first 3 weeks as well. So you think about that bench, they lose Maddo for the first 3 weeks. Kafusi's not going to be there.
The Maddo out for the first 3 weeks is one of the great rugby league yarns. One of the great rugby league yarns. Oh, anyway, sorry, bro.
That's fucking wild, that one, isn't it?
It is it's honestly one of the worst. Like, Maddo is a great guy. He's been on the podcast, nice guy, legend, whatever. But when I saw the news, I was like, bro, what thought process got you to not just take the fine? What was it, $3,000?
3 or 4 grand.
I think it was 4 grand. Yeah.
Mate, look, I can be tight, mate. I can be tight. I wear the same suit everywhere, but shit.
It's a nice suit, to be fair.
Yeah, cost the bloody arm and leg, custom made. Suave Bespoke, one of the great suit makers. I'll wear the same suit to your wedding, bro. So
I have no doubt. We've got my wedding, and then the next Sunday we've got another wedding, and we're going on a cruise for the week. And I was with the guy that's getting married on the weekend. He goes, "Oh, you can just wear your suit again." And I go, "Fuck, after a cruise, that suit ain't fitting me."
Timmy, what do you want to see from the Eels?
I think obviously all around Josh Hodgson in the number 9 spot as well. Let's say Hodgson does go down injured and they need to look at their backup hooker, whoever that may be. I don't think, to be honest, it matters as much as we think it will, because of all teams, your role as a number 9 at Parramatta is to give your star halves early service. They shift. They're one of the best teams in the competition at ball movement and big shifts between, Ryan Madison's a great ball playing lock. Junior Bolo is a great ball playing front rower. They've got all these fellas who can do that. So if it ends up being Mitch Rain who goes out there and plays 65 minutes and tackles his ass off and just distributes and gives good service, that's fine. There are other clubs where you need a creative hooker to help out and be a playmaker for the team. But
Manly, you could argue, is one.
Lockie Croker's the first one that came to mind when I was thinking about that. Is all he has to do is tackle his ass off and distribute. So I think Parramatta are fine either way, even if something was to happen to Josh Hodgson, who's obviously getting on a little bit. That being said, Josh Hodgson in there, how will he impact this team? Again, the dynamic of the team, does it change now they get a really crafty playmaking hooker coming into the team? I suspect not. I suspect Josh Hodgson alters his role to what he did at Canberra, which again we've spoken about in the previous podcast. But that's the big watch. And then Guru touched on it, but the right edge back rower. Who replaces Isaiah Papali'i there? There's a few candidates that he rattled off, and just it could be anyone, really.
Do we think Jacob Arthur plays?
Yeah, I think he'll play in this one. Yeah.
I think I'm really interested to see their halves coming through. Although Dylan Brown and Mitch Moses are quite young, relatively speaking, I want to see their depth, because I do feel like the Jacob Arthur situation, in the end, it was good to carry him on the bench, I guess. He probably could have still done what he did without being carried on the bench. But it is a question, will they continue to do that? Will they continue to carry a guy that can essentially only play 7 on the bench? And will he play even in this trial, even though he's played quite a bit of first grade now? Yeah. I want to see what the feel is around that. And also, Mitch Moses has not re-signed yet, has he?
Not yet.
So that I'm not saying that this hinges whether he's going to re-sign or not, but there may be some little subtle things in the trials where you could maybe get the feeling whether Eels are confident they're going to re-sign him or whether they're not confident they're going to re-sign him. What were you going to say, sorry, Guru?
I was just going to say, obviously, Assie's joined the club as well. Has he pulled out of the All-Star? Was he one of the ones that pulled out?
Yeah, Assie's just
okay. It's disappointing. I was hoping to see him. Jake Arthur, they've got a number of young halves that are in the junior grades that are very talented, as Parramatta always do. But outside of Jake Arthur and Assie, if you want to count him as a ball player, there isn't anyone else in their top 30 that they could ball into the halves realistically. Yeah,
so it'd be interesting to see if Jake Arthur plays and captains the side for the trial, just to see where he's standing in the club is. And I'm not going to go into the rhetoric of he's the coach's son or whatever. I'm just talking about here's the next half after Mitch Moses. They haven't re-signed Mitch Moses yet. I think they will, guys. So Eels fans, don't stress out. I think they definitely will re-sign him. This talk about him going to Tigers, honestly, if he goes to the Tigers, it'll be one of the most shocking things I've ever witnessed in rugby league. because from a transfer perspective, I cannot see a world where he would go back to the Tigers from a premiership. And I get it's great for media in regards to it's not the media's fault, but it's great for Mitchell Moses' market value to say that he's considering the Tigers because obviously they're offering him a mozza. But I can't see a world where Mitchell Moses leaves. I can't.
I keep reading the narrative. Oh, it'd be so good to see him go back to the Tigers and win. Would it not be good to see him win at fucking Parramatta?
Look what he's done at Parra.
Yeah.
They went to a grand final. Like Mitch Moses, 3 or 4 years ago, was so maligned. Like people were like, he's a sook, he can't take. Like there's so much negativity around him. He'd never done anything wrong. Like they were spoon essentially when he arrived. Now they're a powerhouse. Like I'm not saying it's just him, but I tell you what, he's the main guy on the rugby league field when they play every week.
Yeah.
So I think they resign.
You get Teddy and Mitch Moses to go back to the Tigers.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Just quickly with the Jacob Arthur on the bench again this season, I think now that Josh Hodgson's there, let's say they carry Mitch Rain as the 14 to play 15-20 at hooker, whatever it might be. I think Hodgson, if he comes back well, they'll want him as an 80-minute 9, but at his age, coming off the injury, he could easily be a candidate as a 65-minute hooker. Hodgson can slide into the halves if Brown and Moses go down.
True.
Rain comes on at hooker, so I don't see any need for Jacob Arthur on the bench, provided Josh Hodgson's fit.
Yeah, true. Okay, now